Thank you for your question there. Now going back to HistoryNet. So history, do you want to go over the Discord question where it was talking about the kings and emperors ordained by God, or do you have something else in mind? Because that one didn't get, we didn't answer that one in
Which
the
one was
beginning.
that?
You said, and I remember somewhere in the New Testament that all
Oh,
kings
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah. So,
emperors,
I can't remember the exact verse, but
Romans 13.
Paul said that all kings are anointed by God.
Yeah.
But that wouldn't bode well for the rulers in their day.
Why not?
Around the time Paul was preaching, Caligula was in charge.
And?
You know about him?
Yeah, I'm very well familiar with what Caligula.
That's not a godly man.
And?
So why would God anoint him?
Why would God anoint a wicked man?
Yeah.
Well, God can do as he wishes with plenty of people.
Then there was Nero, which led to the persecution of the Christians.
Yeah. There's a quote from John Calvin that I always agree with, that I love concerning this. When God wants to judge a nation, he gives them wicked rulers. If you look in the Old Testament, especially in the book of Judges, those people were sent by God to judge the Israelites who had disobeyed him. And as a result, he sent them as a punishment, especially in the time. Huh?
Doesn't that seem convenient, though?
What do you mean, doesn't that seem convenient?
Like they were anointed to judge Israel, even though Assyria and Babylon attacked other nations besides Israel.
Well, yeah, I mean, those nations attacked other nations and judged other nations, while they also went after Israel.
But it says the prophets claim that God was judging Israel. So was God judging the other nations also?
God judges all other nations. God is in control of all things. Including the judgment upon his people.
How much influence does Satan have over these leaders?
That's well, as far in terms of the temptations of their sin, that's about as much influence as he gets. He's tempting them to fall into these sinful lifestyles that they will get into. But they're clear. It's the word of God is quite clear. And I was actually talking to a Hebrew Israelite when street preaching outside of a bar about this because he had doubts about this. And again, let's go to the scriptures where this topic is being addressed about the rulers, and let's focus on why this is good. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers, for there is no power but of God. The powers that be are ordained of God. Whatsoever therefore resists the power resists the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. For rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Wilt thou then be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. For he is the minister of God to thee for good. But if thou do that which is evil, be afraid. For he beareth not the sword in vain. For he is the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. So this is talking about that, concerning the government, that, and especially in terms of, say, like the army and the police, that they are bearing the sword not in vain, but to be against evil, for those who transgress the law. So in other words, if a school shooter or a serial killer or a robber or a rapist starts doing their thing, that's why we have police. That's why we have the military, or even concerning the military, where we have people over and there's terrorists and opposing nations that would want to wage war against us, and we have that line of defense, the people who bear the sword not in vain. And they are the minister of God, a revenger to execute wrath upon him that doeth evil. Wherefore ye must needs be subject, not only for wrath, but also for conscience sake. For this cause pay ye tribute also, referring to paying taxes and such. For they are God's ministers, attending continually upon everything, upon this very thing. So the issue is that concerning this is that he's established that there be rulers, even if some of them are wicked. That would be better than living in an anarchistic society where everything is do what you want, no order, and to the point that it will be absolute destruction. The kind of societies that operated like this, Sodom, Gomorrah, these kinds of places that didn't really have no structure and authority, and it was pure sin city, pure able to do what you want and even beat up, kill, rape innocent civilians that was just passing by. So the fact that you have all these here,
So revolutionary France?
huh?
So basically revolutionary France?
No, I'd say more like Libya after Muammar Gaddafi was overthrown.
Right. So you have places that, you know, will be in a sort of outcast and anarchistic world. But the order is there when you have leadership, and that is founded within the governmental establishment that has been ordained by God so that these people could be in rule.
Hey,
And even-
Freed is here.
And remember, Paul writes this as someone who is being persecuted in a time where these people are in authority and would kill and martyr Christians, including himself. But he said, even in that, hey, don't break the law. Focus, and you know, as long as it's not going against your Christian faith, there is no need to go against what has been ordained by the law. Listen to the government in terms of paying your taxes and listen and following the authority, because there was a group of the Essenes basically, and they are depicted in the AD series that was on NBC, in which they basically were like revolutionaries. They wanted to overthrow Rome because they thought that, you know, that it was the Antichrist and that they needed to be dethroned. This was a Jewish sect that was there, and it's most likely possible that Paul could definitely be dealing with people who come out of this and still have this in their thinking, that, you know, the government is evil. We should not trust it or obey it. Period. Paul is basically saying that even in this time of persecution, we need to be showing that we are faithful to the government in terms of obliging by the laws, but also realizing we can still practice our faith even in that. That's where it goes on furthermore about that.
What Paul is saying aligns with what Jesus Christ said about what is it, paying taxes to Caesar. I don't exactly. Yes, that one.
Right. There's also that, and that's why verses 6 and 7 talk about, you know, paying the dues and all that.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I find it interesting that Paul adds this piece
Mm-hmm.
to obey the law, despite the law being unfair to you sometimes.
Mm-hmm.